Hello everyone and welcome to Rollin'-ish. I'm Matt, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Xanathar's Guide to Everything, specifically the Bard class and the subclass options provided by this book for the Bard class. These are going to be the College of Glamour, the College of Swords, and the College of Whispers. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our class playlist where we have a breakdown of all the classes and all the features that you get with your classes and subclasses provided by the player's handbook. Now we've pivoted to Xanathar's Guide to Everything, including our first video based on the barbarian primal paths offered by this book: the path of the zealot, the path of the storm, and the path of the ancestral guardians. So looking at the bard, at third level is when you get to choose your option for your subclass or your bard college. The first one we're going to look at in Xanathar's Guide to Everything is going to be the College of Glamour. This is typically going to be for a bard that builds into their backstory that they are from the Feywild, or perhaps tutored by someone from the Feywild like a satyr, an eladrin, or some other type of Fey. These bards are going to use their magic to delight and captivate their audience. The College of Glamour has several features starting at third level with the Mantle of Inspiration. As a bonus action, you can expend one use of your bardic inspiration to grant yourself a wondrous appearance. When you do so, you choose a number of creatures that you can see and that can see you within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. So if your charisma modifier is 4, up to 4 people in that range. Each of them are going to gain 5 temporary hit points. And when they gain these hit points from you, they can immediately use their reaction to move up to their full speed without provoking opportunity attacks. The number of temporary hit points actually increases as you increase in this bard level to 8 temporary hit points at 5th level, 11 temporary hit points at 10th level, and 14 temp HP at 15th level. The other feature that you get when selecting this option is called the Enthralling Performance. If you perform for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to inspire wonder. At the end of the performance, choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet of you who watched and listened to all of it, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. Each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or be charmed by you. And while charmed in this way, the target idolizes you. It speaks glowingly of you to anyone who talks to it, and it hinders anyone who opposes you, although it avoids violence unless it was already inclined to fight on your behalf. This effect will last for an hour, until it takes damage, until you attack it, or until it witnesses you attacking or damaging any of its allies. If a target succeeds on this saving throw, of course, none of this happens, but it's important to note that they have no hint that you tried to charm them. That's wonderful, especially on a failure. When you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. I see this as a very clever way of trying to weasel your way backstage at a tavern, a club, a stadium-like theater, trying to sneak your way back. It's like using your fame to get favors. Innocent favors, but favors nonetheless. At 6th level, you get Mantle of Majesty. As a bonus action, you can cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you take on the appearance of an unearthly beauty for 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. During this time, you can cast Command as a bonus action on each of your turns without expending a spell slot. So command. So you can get that poor creature or target of yours to do some things for you with that one-word command. Any creature currently charmed by you automatically fails the saving throw for that command spell. So do your enthralling performance, get that target charmed, and then do your Mantle of Majesty to cast command and get them to do your bidding, because they will automatically fail that saving throw. Once you use this feature again, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. At 14th level, Unbreakable Majesty comes into play. As a bonus action, you can assume a magically majestic presence for a minute or until you are incapacitated. During that duration, whenever any creature tries to attack you for the first time on a turn, the attacker must first make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. If they fail, they can't attack you on this turn and must choose a new target, or the attack is wasted. On a successful save, it can attack you on this turn, but it's going to have disadvantage on any saving throw it makes against your spells on your next turn. So you definitely want to target this creature with some kind of area of effect to gain that disadvantage on their saving throw. That would be a good way to make up for not being so successful this time around. This is a great feature. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. So, right off the bat, I think the College of Glamour is rather clever and a good way to charm your way through certain encounters without having to fight and kill everything in sight. So for those of you who love the aspect of roleplay, I feel like the College of Glamour is a great option for you. For those who love combat, College of Swords is going to be for you. Now, these bards are going to use weapons to entertain. And what I mean by that is these might be your sword swallowers, your knife jugglers, or sword jugglers, anything like that, where you can use mock fights, where you can use your weaponry or your skill of weaponry to entertain the masses. And that's what the College of Swords is going to do. What's really cool about this option is you get 3 different features right at 3rd level, and then you get a feature at 6th and 14th. So let's take a look. At 3rd level, when you choose the College of Swords, you gain bonus proficiencies. If you're proficient with a simple or martial melee weapon, you can use it as a spell casting focus for your bard spells. So your magic could come out of your sword instead of an instrument, right? But you gain the proficiency with medium armor and a scimitar. Scimitar is going to be a little bit more dangerous than, the sickle or the daggers that you might have as a bard, so it gives you a decent sword to wield. And proficiency in medium armor helps protect you. You're primarily a spellcaster of sorts, so this is a pretty intriguing option. You also get to choose a fighting style at 3rd level, and there are 2 options to choose from here: dueling or 2-weapon fighting. If you choose dueling, when you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, so maybe you have an instrument, maybe you have a shield if you take a feat that allows you to have proficiency with a shield, or no other weapon in your hand, right? You've got one-handed weapon. You get +2 damage to your damage rolls with that weapon. If you choose 2-weapon fighting, you can use 2 weapons. Now, that's not to say that anyone can't use 2 weapons. You can. Typically, how the mechanics work is you have a dominant hand where you get to add your proficiency bonus, your ability modifier to your damage rolls. So if you're using a strength weapon or dex weapon, you'll use that ability modifier as the bonus to the damage roll. But not on your offhand, right? You do it for your dominant hand, but you can't do that on your offhand unless you have 2-weapon fighting, because that's what this feature does. It allows you to add that ability modifier to the damage of that second attack because you're good with both your hands. And that's the distinction between 2-weapon fighting and someone who's just happens to be holding 2 weapons. And then at 3rd level, you also get Blade Flourish. So whenever you take an action on your turn, your walking speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn. And if the weapon attack you make is part of this action for this creature, you can use a Blade Flourish, and you can only use 1 option per turn. There are 3 options, and each one of them are good. Defensive Flourish. You can expend one use of your Bardic Inspiration die to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target you hit. The damage is going to equal whatever that Bardic Inspiration roll is. Then you could take that number you rolled on that Bardic Inspiration die and add it to your AC until the start of your next turn. So that'll keep you protected for about a round. Slashing Flourish, you can expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration die to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target that you hit, plus any other creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of you. So it's kind of like swinging your weapon around and hitting your target, but that secondary target gets it also. It's like the cleaving through rule for you DMs in your Dungeon Master's Guide, but very, very specific here to a secondary target you could see within 5 feet of you. The damage is going to equal the number you rolled on your Bardic Inspiration die. So they're not going to take the full die of your first target. They're going to take the Bardic Inspiration as the damage that they take. At 6th level, you get extra attack. So anytime you take the attack action, instead of attacking once, you get 2. And at 14th level, you get Master's Flourish. Whenever you use a Blade Flourish option, you can roll a d6 and use it instead of using your Bardic Inspiration die. Your Bardic Inspiration die goes up as you level up, and the higher you get into Bard, the higher that die becomes, from a d6 to a d8 to a d10. You could forgo that and save yourself the Bardic Inspiration die by using a d6 instead. So you could go with whatever the Bardic Inspiration die. It says you can. It doesn't say you have to. So if you want to save yourself a Bardic Inspiration die, do it. Roll a d6 instead, and that's your Master's Flourish. I think that's a pretty cool consolation, if you will. That brings us to the College of Whispers. The College of Whispers is for the type of bard that wants to play somebody shifty, a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's really hard to distinguish a College of Whispers bard from any other type of bard, except that information is your currency. You might be that bard in the tavern that plays closely to the table that is whispering. You might dance around the table filled with dignitaries and try to listen to what they're saying, because you want to uncover secrets and turn them against others through extortion and threats. That doesn't make you evil, but it does make you a little shady. So for those of you who like to toe that line, College of Whispers is an excellent option for you. At 3rd level, you get 2 features right away: Psychic Blades, and my favorite, Words of Terror. Psychic Blades. When you hit a creature with an weapon attack, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage to the target. You could do so only once per round on your turn. This psychic damage is going to increase as you achieve certain levels in this class, increasing to 3d6 at 5th level, 5d6 at 10th level, or 8d6 at 15th level. You also get Words of Terror. If you speak to a humanoid alone for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to seed paranoia in its mind. At the end of the conversation, the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be frightened of you or another creature of your choice. The target is frightened in this way for an hour, until it is attacked or damaged, or until it witnesses its allies being attacked or damaged. If the target succeeds on this saving throw, it has no idea that you tried to frighten it. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. That's excellent for many reasons. This is a way to, instead of charm your way through with your fame, like we saw in the College of Glamour, we could threaten our way in with the Words of Terror, right? With the College of Whispers. I see this as being a party buffer too, because if I've got like a scary cleric or paladin or barbarian behind me in the initiative order, I might get them frightened of my teammate. So when my teammate comes behind me on their turn they can get a little buff and some advantage on that attack. So it's got its combat purposes, but it also works outside of combat to really talk or bribe or threaten your way to get something you need. Maybe it's some other kind of information. And sometimes information is more valuable than gold. Just saying. I love that feature. At 6th level, you get Mantle of Whispers. When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction. And you retain this shadow until you use it or you finish a long rest. You can't stockpile them. You can use the shadow as an action. When you do so, it vanishes, magically transforming into a disguise that appears on you. You now look like the dead person, but alive and well and healthy. This disguise lasts for an hour or until you end it as a bonus action. While you're in this disguise, you gain access to all information about the humanoid that they would freely share with a casual acquaintance, such as information on general details on its background, its personal life, but not including intimate, detailed secrets. This information is enough that you could pass yourself off as the person by drawing on its memories. And that is the core and the spirit of this feature. It's not meant for you to pull somebody's deepest, darkest secrets out, but could you use it on maybe like a butler on a mansion you're trying to break into and disguise yourself as a family friend and then start asking questions like, oh, where's the study again? And I'm here to pick this up. Where is he keeping it? Like, you could totally try and do that because that butler would view you as a friend. Just an example. Another creature can see through this disguise with a successful insight check against your deception check, but you get a +5 bonus on that deception check. All day. I'm all day. I would use this. Once you capture a shadow with this feature, you can't capture another one with it until you finish a short or a long rest. So just be careful how you're using it, because you can't take one and then another and another and just have a bunch of shadows. You can only have one at a time. So, if you get one and then you don't end up using it and your party wants to take a short rest, it might be worth letting that go if you're not going to use it, so you have the opportunity to get something else or better, depending on the situation that you're in. So I see this as an opportunity to do something really cool, but be judicious about it at the same time. Okay. At 14th level, you get Shadow Lore. As an action, you magically whisper a phrase that only one creature of your choice within 30 feet can hear. The target must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. It automatically succeeds if it doesn't share a language with you or it can't hear you. On a successful saving throw, your whisper just sounds like gibberish and nonsense. On a failed saving throw, though, the target is charmed by you for the next 8 hours or until you and your allies attack it or damage it or force it to make a saving throw. It interprets the whispers as the description of its most mortifying secret. You gain no knowledge of this secret, but the target is convinced that you know it. It's like extorting them with nothing. The charmed creature obeys your command for fear that you'll reveal its secret. That's 100% blackmail. But you don't even know what you're blackmailing. I love it. It won't risk its life for you or fight for you unless it's already inclined to do so. It grants you favors and gifts it would offer a close friend. When the effect ends, the creature has no understanding of why it held you in such fear. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Look, I make a lot of NPC bards, so I've yet to actually play a bard myself. But if I were to play a bard, this is right up my alley. College of Whispers. I'm into this. It's a little bit of everything for me. A little bit of towing the line, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of role-play intrigue that I could use for good and bad. And it really helps, has some cool features that could really help in combat, also giving you more options other than just weapon or spell, which I like. I like intriguing, out-of-the-box thinking in combat. All right, friend, that is the colleges for the Bard class as they appear in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. If you haven't done so already, like and subscribe and check out our playlists for all the things that were offered to you in your classes and subclasses for your player's handbook. Continue to visit us weekly as we continue to go through Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Next stop is Cleric as we talk about the Forge and Grave domains. Until then, keep rolling those dice, and we'll see you at the table.